I will talk actually about DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about them, so I thought that I would start with something more familiar and cute. I hope you all know this person. This is David Attenborough, my absolute hero. I started watching his films on BBC a few years ago. Well, you know that his films are about nature, environment, climate, and all the stuff. And there were two equally strong emotions which I was experiencing while watching his films. One was like, oh my God, how beautiful our planet is. And the other one was, what the hell we're doing to it. And the second feeling came with the frustration that actually we can't do a lot on a personal level to change the things. We can't stop climate change, we can't stop deforestation, the loss of biodiversity, etc. Even if we change our personal lifestyle, let's say we can stop eating meat, we can stop traveling by plane, we can buy less stuff, etc. It doesn't really change anything on a global scale, sorry. So this frustration brought me to the university again. I entered master's program called Environmental Science for Sustainability in King's College London. I just wanted to see how all this system works and if there is anything we can do to change like the destroying of the planet. In my previous life, sorry, it doesn't work. Maybe I'm just, Vanya, it doesn't work. Oh, no, it works, sorry. In my previous life, which ended up 4 years ago, I was a journalist and an editor. Maybe some of you have seen a magazine called Zima. It's a quite popular Russian language media in the UK. I loved this job, although it was quite challenging because I had to do many things simultaneously, from writing articles, taking interviews, running events, and I also tried to focus on community management because we wanted people not just read our magazine and website, but also visit our events, buy tickets, buy memberships, etc. So when I started studying at the uni again, I began to think what I can do, how I can share my new environmental knowledge with people, maybe using my previous experience as a journalist, as a community manager. And I started with the most obvious thing, writing a blog on Telegram in Russian. It's called «Полтора градуса». And at some point I noticed that people joining this blog actually sometimes know more about environment than I do, because these were people from universities, both students studying environmental science and lecturers, people working in different organizations, in ESG departments, etc. So at some point we decided to have a call, just introduce ourselves and to discuss what's interesting for us. And we realized that it would be great to meet more often and maybe do something great together. So that's how the idea of a climate community was born. And by the time I've already heard about such concept as DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, that I suggested to create not just any community, but a DAO. Everyone supported this idea, and we started to meet once a week on Zoom with people who were subscribed to this blog. These were open calls, everyone could join them. Some people came and left, but most people stayed for the whole process. There were 12 of us. Anya, hello, Anya sitting here, one of our founders. So we had this. It's not me, it's a dog. Yes, we just discussed like how our community can be run, what we can do, how we can attract people, how to earn money, etc. And 2 months ago, we launched it. It's called 1.5 Degrees DAO. It's a community of climate change and sustainability professionals and enthusiasts. The idea is quite simple. Every month we select a topic we want to discuss, and we invite experts who give us a talk on this subject. So it's basically a webinar on Zoom, which lasts for 1 hour. These webinars are open, everyone can join them, but if you want to see the recording or if you want to get the notes from this meeting, you have to become our member and pay a small membership fee, which allows us to continue to run our activities. So why we decided to change such structure as DAO? DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. There are many definitions on the internet. One of them says that it's an online community that jointly controls a cryptocurrency wallet to pursue common goals. Like it's, yeah, not the best definition probably. But I would like you to focus on two words here, online and community. Online means that you can unite people from all over the world. You don't have to be at the same city or at the same country. And community is the most important, like I would say, crucial part of any DAO. You can't run a DAO without community. There must be people who support your idea, who believe in your idea, who pursue the same goal, etc. So you may have just a few members, or you may have thousands of members. There are DAOs that have dozens of thousands of members already. It's not our case, by the way, but still. And usually there are different people, different people also do different roles in your community. They're not just, passively join your webinars or whatever you do. They also want to contribute somehow into the development of your community. So for example, in our community, we have co-founders. These are 12 people who created this idea. And we also, by the way, became the first financial contributors to our DAO. Each of us invested £200. This is not a lot, but it really helped us to start working without the need of any external fundraising. So we have contributors. These are people who come to us and say, well, you are doing quite a cool thing, maybe I can help. And there are usually tasks that people can do, and they don't have to pay for the membership because obviously they have access to all our events, all our notes, etc. We have paid members. Right now the membership costs £90 per year, and it allows people to see all the recordings, get the notes, get the access to the chat where we discuss all the stuff, etc. And we have experts. These are people who we personally invite. Usually they are either from universities or just from the industry. They can give us a talk, or they can just, just be in our chat and ideally answer questions sometimes. So they contribute to our community with their expertise. I would say that community is the most important part, but usually when we talk about DAO, we also have to talk about blockchain. I must admit here that I'm not like professional in blockchain, but I can explain what's the most important thing about it. For us, at least, it's tokens. Usually all DAOs have tokens. This is a kind of Web3 equivalent of a company share. Different DAOs use tokens differently. In our community, we use it to pay for the job, and we use it as a share. The tokens give a voting power. The more tokens you have, at least in our community, the more voting power you have. We decided that 1 hour of work for our community equals 100 tokens, and we distribute these tokens accordingly to our members, experts, contributors, whoever does something for us. To receive these tokens, you must have a crypto wallet. Usually it's MetaMask. We use Snapshot for voting, and we use Discord and Notion for community management, although Discord and Notion are not like proper Web3 tools. They're Web2 tools, but they're quite useful, and most DAOs use them. Another important feature of DAO is decentralization. On the left side of this picture, of the slide, you can see a picture of traditional organization with a very strict hierarchy, and on the right side, it's how ideal DAO should look like, with more horizontal connections, etc. I would say that in practice, it's somewhere in between. In our community, we don't have managers or directors. Nobody tells anyone what to do. But at the same time, some management takes place, because otherwise things just wouldn't be done. We have different working groups, but all these working groups are working towards the same goal. And we have several working groups, and we have, I think the most important one is the governance group, which just oversees the whole project and runs everyday operational activities like token distribution, payments proceedings, and etc. Another DAO feature is transparency, which means that all transactions are written on blockchain and everyone can see them. Again, it's like an ideal world. In our world, we don't use blockchain that much, but we are still transparent, and like most DAOs are more transparent than traditional organizations. They publish their documents, they publish their meeting notes, and for example, if you join our community today, you will still be able to see the meeting notes from the very first call we had, and you'll be able to see how our idea developed, what we decided, like how we implemented our decisions, what we discussed, etc. Another very important feature is shared ownership. It means that the project which we run belongs to the whole community, not just the founders or one person, whoever. Like everyone who joins this community owns this project. And yes, so I already told that we distribute tokens to our members and co-founders and contributors, and it means that people are motivated to do more for your community when they feel that this is their project as well, even they have like a tiny share in this project. Still, you know, it's like you're not helping someone for free, you're helping to develop project that is partly yours. And people, so if, let's say you, like any token holder can propose a vote, like can propose any suggestion, and other token holders can vote for it. And if the community decide to do something, this decision must be implemented, even like we as a founders don't like this decision. Still, if other token holders overpower like our decision, it still must be implemented. Ideally, it would be implemented automatically on blockchain, but you must be quite technically advanced for it. We are not on the stage, and I'm not sure we will approach it anytime soon. But anyway, so shared ownership is important. Of course, like it all sounds cool, but in practice, it's not that easy. So this is a slide that we had on our launch presentation 2 months ago. It says we do this not because it is easy, but because we thought it would be easy. And the most probably obvious thing about it is that it's technically challenging. So thanks God we have a guy in our team who works in Microsoft full time, and he helps us to mint tokens, to set up all these crypto wallets, multi-sigs, etc. Otherwise, we would just like be sitting there and do nothing. So it's like when you maybe do it a few times, it's not that difficult, but you must understand what to do. And even technical guys from IT, because like it's all new, like the whole concept of DAO developed just like 3 years ago. Yeah, sometimes they just have to learn many things while doing them, and it's not that easy. Another challenge is that people who join us are usually also not so much engaged with all these Web3 technologies. They're more attracted by the idea of the environmental community rather than by Web3 community, and you have to explain them how to set up a crypto wallet, how to use tokens, how to vote, etc. And for that reason, we can't really properly use some of the Web3 opportunities, because like we have to sacrifice them for the sake of simplicity. So for example, most of our members don't want to pay with cryptocurrency, they want to pay with a traditional card, and we have to set up like a traditional way to accept payment rather than doing everything on blockchain. So for that reason, we can't really use all the possibilities that DAO have. But still, it works for us. It's not a perfect solution. It's not a magic pill. Actually, DAO is just a form of organization like LTD, limited company, or LLP. It's not a magic word or whatever. But for us, it really works. It helped us to get where we are at the moment. And by the way, I forgot to say that we already run a few quite successful months. We started in March. We had a month about climate change society, then a month about sustainable fashion. Now we are talking about the circular economy, and we had speakers from Cambridge University, UCL, University of Westminster. We had founders of sustainable businesses. We had one activist. We will have climate journalist next month, etc. And it just works because we have a great network. Why is it so noisy, like all the time here? What's wrong with this area? It's just like, Anyway, yeah, and it's just like we can do it just because we have a great network, we have people who are joining us, and like, you know, we all have people who can give us a talk for free, although we are happy to share tokens with those people who are giving us a talk. So yes, it can't like DAOs, I can't say that DAOs can work for any project. Probably if you want to run like the technological startup, etc., it will be easier to do it in traditional way because like community management takes time. But it really helps, it really works for communities. We are by all means not the only one project which is run like DAO. This is an example of other climate-related DAOs. They are much bigger than we are. KlimaDAO works with carbon offsets. We have DClimate here, which kind of creates the first decentralized network for climate data. All Climate DAO helps, like supports other environmental communities, etc. I don't know how many DAOs exist on the market right now, but I'm starting to write my dissertation about them, so hopefully by the end of August I'll be able to make a better overview of what's happening there. But like my feeling is that it's all growing, it's becoming more popular, especially for communities, because it's just like this kind of organization will just give you very simple tools to run the community without like the need to pay people real money. And yeah, that's the last slide. The best way to learn how DAOs operate is to join any of them. There are many. Like as I showed you already, there are quite a few on the market. You can join ours, and we will be thrilled to see you. Although it's in Russian right now. Sorry for that. It was the most difficult thing for us to decide which language we should operate on, so we decided that we would start in Russian. Then when we have enough audience and resources, basically, we will switch into English. So if you speak Russian, you can join us already. If you don't, you can leave us your contact details, and we will get in touch when we switch into English. So this is our website, this is our social media, and my contact details just in case. That's it.